Hi, I'm Betsy, and this is CAM Matters. Come join us today as we do one of my most favorite things, and that is answer your questions. Those of you who know me know that I am a sucker for a question, so we're going to dig into a couple of those today. Be sure and join us.
Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy Barbieux is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
Hello, welcome to CAM Matters. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Betsy Barbieux, and today is questions and answers. We have told you that you can write in, ask Betsy questions, and boy, have you.
And people who know me know that I am a sucker for a question. If I can answer questions all day long, I'll do that instead of doing all the work I'm supposed to do.
Oh, really?
I love questions. I love looking stuff up for everybody.
Well, we've got three major questions that we're going to be talking about today, but it seems like there's a theme. I mean, as I was going through the questions, records seems to keep coming up, and we did a show on records.
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think we did, but it still comes up, and I bet this week, well, today is actually Wednesday, so this week I have probably had 2 or 3 questions already each day this week about records, and I actually had concerned owners, not board members, but I had some concerned owners from another community come to the office yesterday and spent about 2 hours going over what records are there supposed to be and what do we have access to.
Really?
Yeah.
I would never as a homeowner, but
well, they're
it's
concerned
important.
about the management of their community, and they're not seeing a board that's doing right. They don't have a manager.
So they're doing due diligence.
So these are owners who are on a mission to find out what's the deal.
Wow.
What are we supposed to know? What are we supposed to have? What do we have access to? And what, if we ask for something, what's the reasonable time or way that we should expect an answer?
Oh, there are issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Betsy, we're going to jump in. We've got a question from Maria. She says, Betsy, I wanted to ask again about the financial records. I was told that if any owner asks in writing that I have to allow them access to all financials. The attorney confirmed yes. However, in class, you taught us differently. I really want to get this clarified and discuss it with the attorney again so I'm not subjected to the insanity of these owners.
Let's just stop there.
Is that okay? Okay.
Let's stop there. I know this particular community.
Okay.
So I know Maria, I know the particular community, and they are one of those in Florida that a lot of their owners have their units, condo units, as investment units.
Okay.
So they rent them out.
Okay.
So there is a rental program that runs alongside the community association program.
Okay.
So we're actually talking 2 different sets of books.
Okay. 2 different rules.
2 different
right.
rules. To do their particular rental program, they have a licensed real estate broker.
Okay.
Because they're getting commission on that. But they have CAM, Maria, who is handling the community association side. So I didn't want you to read any more than that because what I asked her was, who's your attorney?
Oh, okay, I got you, yes.
So just don't
need to know
read
that.
the rest of it.
Let me peek though. Oh, no.
Because, again, we've had before on our show experts. We've had, like Phil Massey, we had as an expert on insurance. Well, similarly, there are experts in attorneys.
Okay.
And you need to have an expert in condominium or community association law.
Right. Not just a lawyer.
Not just
one
a
that
lawyer,
understands.
not somebody who does real estate who can do a little bit of that.
Right.
I want to see that that's what they're dedicated to and that's all they do.
Right.
Because there's a whole lot of case law, there's a whole lot of other stuff to know. So I'm not sure that her attorney understood her question.
Okay. And again, her question was, she has a right to see the records.
Right. And then in class, when she came to class, I said, no on certain records because there's a whole list.
Okay.
There's a whole list. Don't you love it when I pull
love
out
your
the
vlogs.
books and everything?
Yeah, yes.
You love it when I pull out all this. But there's a list of things that owners do not have access to. But generally, owners have access to all financial records.
Okay.
What they wouldn't have in her case is access to owners' rental records.
Okay.
So no, they wouldn't have access to owners' rental
Okay.
records. But as far as copies of bank statements, copies of monthly financials, accounts receivable, accounts payable, an owner could actually ask, I'll have a bunch of managers shoot me for this, but an owner can ask for a general ledger printout of QuickBooks or their accounting program.
Wow.
So you can have 50,000 pages of
So not
printout.
just specific, you can have the
But
whole.
you can have
yeah.
the printout for this year
Okay.
of the ledger.
Okay.
There's not really any secret information, and somehow people think that you can't know who owes money to the association, but yes, you can.
Okay.
That's an accounts receivable report as to who owes.
Oh.
And here's my dumbed down common language
Please, yes.
kind of thought. All of the owners are parties to the contract. I know you love it when I wave
Yep,
these around.
yep.
This collectively is a contract.
Okay. Oh,
So
my gosh.
our owners are parties to our contract.
We've agreed to all that.
Yeah, well, you've agreed to everything on here. And so our owners are parties to the contract. And here's my thought. The parties to the contract get to know if the parties to the contract are fulfilling their part of the contract.
Sure. I
So-
completely understand that.
So
right.
if I want to...
'Cause we're a team.
We're
Yeah.
all paying this together.
Right.
And I have a right to know if you're fulfilling your part of the contract. You have a right to know if I'm fulfilling mine. And we have a right to know if the board's fulfilling their part of the contract.
Right.
So it's a three-way contract.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have the right to know. So, yes, her owners have the right to see the financials on the community association side.
Not on the rental.
But I don't think there's any obligation
Right.
for her to give
Right.
any of the rental
Right.
information.
Absolutely.
And that's a unique, well, not real unique situation. Some communities run rental programs alongside the community association
Right.
part of the business, and then some don't. And then some owners just rent their units themselves. They don't have it as a program
Right.
that everyone's in.
Pouring into.
Yeah.
Maria, that was a great question. All right, we have a second question. It says, Betsy, what's the difference between CMCA, the Certified Manager of Community Associations, and CAM? Or should I just ask that in the class? Well, we're asking it here.
She was coming to class, and I answered it there, but then I usually go over it in class.
Right.
I've got credentials here.
Yes.
I've got a CFCAM, that's a Certified Florida Community Association Manager,
Okay.
which is a topic we can talk
Okay.
about. I have the license, which is the CAM.
Okay,
That tells people that I have a Florida license.
Okay.
Here to practice community association management. But then this CMCA is what she was asking about.
Okay.
And that is a national credential. Credentials are earned or bestowed by professional organizations.
Okay.
And you see doctors who have all these credentials after their name, attorneys or real estate agents.
Right.
They have all these credentials, and insurance agents have all these credentials. Those are bestowed by professional organizations after you have demonstrated a degree of higher education.
Okay.
So you spent some money
Right.
for more education and
yeah.
time, and you would be considered then more of an expert in that field. So the CMCA, we have two professional organizations that can bestow credentials for managers.
Okay.
One is the Florida professional organization, which is called FCAP, Florida Community Association Professionals.
Okay.
They offer and bestow the CFCAM
Okay.
that I've got. And I offer that class.
All right. We want to find out more about that too. Yeah.
FCAP has authorized me to have the in-person classroom class for that. It's 4 days, so we can talk about that
Okay.
later. But the CMCA is issued by the national organization. So we've got a Florida organization and we've got a national organization. So the national organization is national.
Okay.
It's nationwide.
Right.
The educational material is really good, but it does not have any state law in it.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So, because it's national.
So it's important to have national and state.
Yeah, I want you to have both.
Right.
The national one has, the processes and procedures are great of what they teach you how to do with meetings and financials, customer relations, insurance, disaster preparedness, dealing with vendors. All of those best practices are really, really good. And so my thought is that information is broad.
Right.
And then the FCAP, the Florida professional, is deep and narrow.
Right.
And
that's pinpointed.
And that's where we pinpoint and dig deep into the Florida statutes and the Florida requirements. And can you imagine that roofing, paving, and painting would be different in the Florida sun than it is in the New York City cold?
Yes, absolutely.
So the way we roof and pave and paint and those other things here in Florida.
You don't want it to be national rules.
No,
right?
Paint dries differently in Florida than it dries in New York.
Sure.
Roofs age and wear differently up north than they do in Michigan than they do here.
Yeah.
So when we're able to go deep and narrow, be compliant with the statutes, but also talk about the literal things like cleaning the pool and paving and roofing and painting.
Wow.
And I've got actually course material on watching paint dry and how thick it needs to be. There's little things that you, like a little comb thing that you can use to measure the thickness of paint.
I'm so glad we have people like you, because as a homeowner, I just don't even think about that. Like, I just hope it's taken care of, you know?
There is the thickness of paint. But anyway, I want you to have, in Florida, you need the license, which is the CAM.
Okay.
Some people think it's LCAM, but there is no such thing as LCAM. It's just CAM.
Okay.
Well, my little soapbox, some of you know that. It's just CAM.
Yeah.
There is no L. I am on a losing mission to get the L out of there. It is not going. But then I want you to have the Florida credential, and I want you to have the national credential.
Sure.
And the national actually has 2 more credentials that you can earn.
Okay.
So
it helps you to be well-rounded.
You also means you paid a lot of money.
Yeah. All right, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more questions and some interesting things you need to know about from Betsy.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, Community Association Management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
Welcome back to CAM Matters. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Betsy Barbieux, and we are on the other side of the show. We're talking about questions and answers, a lot of them pertaining to records. And the next question's coming from Cynthia, and we thank you for your questions. Betsy loves to answer questions, so bring them in. You might just make it on the CAM Matters show. Betsy was asked, I own a condo in the Panhandle. Our annual homeowners meeting was held in October, and a board meeting followed. I asked for the minutes to these meetings, but got nowhere, so I made a legal request to the Condo Association's lawyer. They gave me the agenda with no minutes available and said that the secretary was able to type up the November board meetings and release them.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Again, back to records. It's very important.
Right, because I thought minutes
and we're supposed to have a record of all of the meetings.
Right.
And she's talking 2 different meetings. There's the, hopefully once a year, owners meeting, whether it's condo owners or HOA owners or co-op owners, their shareholders. There would be a once a year meeting, and that would be the annual meeting and elections. That's where the owners would elect their board members. And then she was also asking about, there's usually a board meeting of the new board
Okay.
that follows their election. So the annual meeting is adjourned, and then you convene a second meeting
Sure.
of just the board,
Okay.
the newly elected board, and that's where they elect their officers.
Okay.
So they choose among themselves president, vice president, secretary, treasurer.
This is 2 separate evenings, right?
Well, it could be the same
okay,
night.
Okay.
It could be the same day, same
Okay,
night, but
okay.
it's 2 separate meetings. One is
Gotcha.
the meeting of the big group of the owners, and then the other is the meeting of the board, which the owners may attend,
Okay.
but the meeting's not for them.
Sure.
So she's asking for minutes from those.
Okay.
Now, she said she's made a legal request. Now, what that would be, the statutes say that an owner has access to minutes. That would be included in the list. And the whomever is in charge of the records, whether it's a manager, management company, or a board member or secretary of the board, whoever's in charge of the records has 10 business days to make an appointment, set an appointment for this owner to come in and view the records.
Okay.
As a courtesy, some managers, board members will just electronically email those to you
Okay.
instead of making you come in. But
Sure.
but that's a courtesy.
Okay.
That's a courtesy. When you come in for your appointment, they'll set a time and a space of time for you to come review those records. You may bring your own portable device and make your own copies with your phone.
Oh, okay.
Or your own copier. Otherwise, they will make copies for you and charge you for them.
Okay.
But they have 10 business days to comply with that request. That would be a legal request.
Okay.
In a condominium, there is potential liability to the person who won't release the records. There's potential personal liability
Wow.
for being, you could end up in an arbitration proceeding and end up in court. And
Why
if-
would they not release them? What's a reason that just not getting around at the time?
No.
Or trying to hide something?
Yeah.
Or, oh.
Either hiding something, totally incompetent, or just plain vindictive and mean.
Okay.
Or, I guess I shouldn't use this word on camera, but stupid.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. But
It
they're
just-
held
But
liable
records
for it.
are important.
Right.
And if you lose for the condominium statute, it's different. Says different for the HOA statute, but for condominium statute, it says that the person in control of the records
Yeah.
is going to be liable for the attorney's fees.
Wow.
And a $50 a day penalty up to 10 days, which is $500.
Personally, they're responsible.
Personally responsible for it.
Okay.
If you lose an arbitration proceeding, but I want you to catch this, if you lose the arbitration proceeding, that means you're paying 2 sets of legal fees,
Oh my
2
gosh.
attorney's fees, if you lose, and a $500 punitive damages.
Okay, I just want to clarify. This person that's responsible for the records is a volunteer most of the time, right?
It could be, or it could be the manager.
Okay.
It could be the manager.
Okay.
And that change
Holy
went
cow.
into that change went into the statutes for condos about 7 years ago, and it used to say that the association would be responsible for the attorney's fees, but they changed it and put the phrase "person in control of the records,"
Wow.
which could put it on
Yes.
the manager. Now they don't say that in the homeowner association statute.
Okay.
But condo and co-op statute, person in control of the records. The homeowners association statute, if you don't produce the records when or allow an appointment for the owner to inspect within the time frame, you could end up in a mediation proceeding, which is still going to have legal fees.
Sure.
And then if that is not resolved, then you go to court, and then again, if you lose, you're probably going to pay both sets of legal fees plus the $500.
Managers are really important.
so-
They need to stay on top of things.
Records
Yeah,
are really
yeah,
important,
yeah.
and I think it was her name, Cynthia.
Yep, the
Yeah,
Cynthia.
She and I have had some conversation before,
Okay.
and she's in a horrible situation, and she has not good management
Okay.
and not a good board.
So these are things as a potential home buyer that may be good questions. How is the board? Is it, maybe ask the neighbors, are there issues? How are the meetings going?
It's a question that is very seldom asked of me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Betsy, we have a lot more we could talk about, but I don't want to leave before we jump into the class that you're offering in August. What is that about, and who is welcome?
Yes. I have developed, and with a lot of help, an annual event for managers to earn their continuing education hours.
Okay.
And I have it every year, so you can take it one year or the other, because it's a 2-year license, so I offer it both years. Those who take it the year early, I call them the early birds, and those who are going to be taking it this year are the procrastinators, because they will have waited till the end to get their continuing ed. But it has turned out to be a grand event.
Yeah, it was a huge success last year.
Very successful. Towers 10 Condominiums hosted it last year, and this year it will be the Ormond Heritage. This will be the second year we'll be back there. They're begging us to come back.
Oh, that's great.
So we're going to be back at the Ormond Heritage. Day one is going to be roundtable discussions of management contracts and ethics. So the managers will all be talking, and I've got exercises and things for them to do at the tables, talking about some different topics, and I've given them a management contract and an employment agreement to pick apart.
Oh, that's great.
And to critique it.
Yeah.
So they'll have fun doing that. Day two, though, is really special because I have 5 experts coming in to facilitate roundtables.
Okay.
So we're having, our topics on day 2 will be paving, I'll get it in a minute. I'll get it. Paving, pools, pets, and reserves.
Okay.
So Connie Lorenz is from Asphalt Restoration, is my expert for the paving. Okay. She calls herself the paving chick. Okay. Yeah. She's in a man's world, but boy, is she good. And we've got pets, and that will be Catherine Hurst Miller, attorney in the Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach area, who will be talking to us about the pets. Okay. And emotional support, therapy, service, all of that.
It feels like things are constantly changing with that.
Yes, so she'll be talking with us about that. Lauren Broom from Space Coast Pool School will be our expert on pools, and we've had her on the show before. And then Anastasia Klonzik from Expert Inspectors, and Mark Kramer from Eagle Hawk, a drone service. Okay. The two of them are going to talk about reserves. And he's got this really neat thing that he does with inspecting buildings, infrared, and everything,
neat.
Helping you plan for your reserves. Those will be our 4 experts on day 2, and all the managers who attend will get to hear all 4, so you don't have to choose. But the really good part, food.
Okay.
Food.
Well, let's talk about that. We had to wrap up, but we can extend the show a little bit.
I have sponsors for food for breakfast for both days, lunch both days, and after day 1 we have a social happy hour that we have a sponsor for.
That's great. That's when a lot of great networking happens, and you get to know each other.
And I just appreciate everybody who wants to help, and it has turned out to be a good event, and people now are calling me saying, can we participate in some way? Wow. So I'm just blessed with that. It's like, wow, I'm not having to beg anybody anymore.
That's right. It's gotten some traction.
It's Friday and Saturday, August 21st and 22nd. Okay. And we'll be at the Ormond Heritage Condominiums in Ormond Beach.
All right. And then how do they get a hold of you?
Betsy at floridacamschools.com.
All right. Very good. Sounds great. Well, thanks, Betsy. It was a great show. Okay. Appreciate it. And again, if you've got questions, please write in. Betsy loves questions, so we'll try to get to those. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.